Hello and welcome. This is the Market Wrap. I'm Agam Vakil. Well, on this truncated week, and we've started with a positive note. We've seen the Nifty advance by around 56 odd points and perhaps more importantly, reclaim the 11,000 mark. That perhaps is the biggest takeaway in today's day of trade. We have Yes Bank and UPL along with Maruti Suzuki leading the gains and all of them advancing by 2.5%. On the losing end, we don't have too much, but HCL Technologies coming up by around 1.5%, followed by Eicher Motors and Infosys. But to take a look at the broader markets, well, two gainers for one loser on the NSE 500 with Shankara Building Products advancing by another 19%. Rain Industries, Dilip Bilkon and Jindal Stainless all advancing in trade by over 10% as well, but Suzlon Energy continues to remain under pressure. That's down 12.5%. Hathway Cables looking at some weakness. Equitas Holding is something that we'll talk about in just a bit, and Aries Life Sciences, IV Industries declining in trade. But on that note, let me get in our markets editor Neeraj Shah for his thoughts. Neeraj, this was expected to remain a relatively quiet session considering we have a trading holiday tomorrow. What are you making of this?
Yeah, it's interesting. This morning, Agam, when we were looking at, and you would have looked at it in the FNO show as well, that the upside call resistances, which stayed firmly at 11,000 until Friday, had moved up to 11,200 for the month at 11,500 as well. So obviously, option writers were expecting that maybe there could be some upsides there, and so the points of resistance has shifted a little bit in that.
Yes.
And now today, the two interesting things that have happened is one, auto started off weak because they'd gone up on Friday on expectations that the finance minister will announce something. That didn't happen. They started off weak, but they rallied during the course of the day, which means people are now coming out and buying things. This market seems to be tired of going down. A lot of people have put out that how there is gravity and the markets will come off today. But somehow this market seems to be tired of going down too much. I mean, it's fallen quite a bit. Mid-caps have fallen quite a bit. And in today's session, a lot of stocks were trading at 52-week highs for themselves. Those are high-quality names, but they did well. Don't know if the market is giving some signs that maybe select quality should be bought into. But yeah, I mean, your guess is as good as mine, really. Daily movements, very difficult to track. Tomorrow, as you rightly said, a market holiday. So a bit surprising, especially the one in banks. But hey, the bulls will take it, I guess.
Well, let's wait and watch on that one. Yes, thanks for that perspective there. So, well, it's turned out to be a positive start to this trading week, and that, of course, is the big takeaway here. However, there's a pocket which did see a lot of volatility today, and that is the microfinance space, particularly Equitas Holdings, and I have Shefali Malik who's joining us to give us an idea about what's going on there. Shefali.
Well, as per the RBI regulations for listing, for coming out with a new bank, so basically they had to list the small finance bank by September 4, so that was a deadline, and they could not meet that deadline because they had plans to go as per a scheme of arrangement which they had proposed earlier in Jan-Feb this year. So they could not meet that deadline, and because of which RBI imposed some penalties on the bank. Equitas Holding is the listed stock. It holds the entire 100% shareholding in Equitas Small Finance Bank, which is the banking operations of the company. So basically, so the penalties were basically that they cannot open any more branches till further notice, and the remuneration of the MD and CEO stands frozen till further notice. And if the bank does not make any move towards listing, then it can face further restrictions by Reserve Bank of India. So what the bank's plan is that they had already proposed a scheme of arrangement, and they are awaiting nod from SEBI and then NCLT for the same, and so that's their plan. And if that doesn't get approval, then they will go through the IPO route, which Ujjivan is also undertaking.
Okay, fair enough, Shefali. Thanks for that perspective there. So those are your updates from Equitas Holding. And well, some startling numbers coming in from SIAM. Of course, a lot of this has already been factored in, but I'm going to get in Yatin Motor to talk to us about what the SIAM numbers are. Tell us, Yatin.
Agam, nothing to cheer about. Of course, auto stocks were up, but if you look at SIAM data, it is basically an aggregation of the listed and unlisted auto company wholesale numbers for the month of August. Clearly, they were not in the pink of the health. If you look at the passenger vehicle sales for the month of August aggregated, they were down 32%. If you look at the car sales, they were down 41%. Commercial vehicle space, this is one thing which has been the point of contention. 54% decline is what we saw for the commercial vehicle sales. Clearly, at this point in time, if you look at Tata Motors, be it Mahindra & Mahindra or be it Ashok Leyland, all of these companies have been keeping their plants shut, have been talking about how they plan to bring down the dealer inventory. and probably that is the reason why the commercial vehicle wholesale numbers were quite weak in the month of August, since these companies had some good inventory correction for the month of August ahead of the festive season. And finally, the two-wheelers sales for the Siam as a whole came in low by about 22% on a year-on-year basis. So clearly all the segments showed a decline for the month of August when it comes to the Siam wholesale numbers.
Okay, Yatin, thanks for getting us those updates. So there you have it. That's a final print of how the auto numbers have turned out for the Indian automotive sector as a whole. And well, things are not looking that great. Of course, we've had a fair idea, as Yatin has already mentioned, when it comes to some of the listed players who have already put out their volumes numbers for the month gone by. That said, we continue to keep an eye on how well some of these volumes will pan out through the course of the next few months, and that could give us a better cues about how the stocks could possibly react. But well, on that note, it's a wrap on the markets. We do have a trading holiday tomorrow, so we'll see you back day after. Stay tuned to Bloomberg Quint.